After Iranian forces succeeded in shooting down an American F-15E Strike Eagle over southwestern Iran, both crew members punched out of the jet and parachuted into hostile territory. In that instant, the Pentagon kicked off a massive search and rescue operation to bring those downed airmen home. Hundreds of aircraft were thrown into the sky over Iran. Fighters surged in to provide top cover. C-130 Search and Rescue Command aircraft took up their positions to coordinate the entire mission. HH-60G Pave Hawk Rescue à la Constay 60G ACA. RAW helicopters flew low through the mountainous terrain, hunting for any sign of the missing crew. And aboard the aircraft carriers carrying Marines, the combat alarm finally went off. Those men had been waiting for this exact moment for days. Gear packed, weapons ready, standing by for the order nobody wanted to hear, but everybody expected could come. And when that alarm sounded, it meant only one thing. Move now. Get to the helicopters on the upper deck. Load in. Get airborne. Head into Iranian airspace. Find the downed pilot before somebody else does. The Marines snatched up their rifles, helmets, and packs and rushed through the narrow passageways and up the ladder wells toward the flight deck. There was no hesitation, no wasted motion. On deck, the helicopter rotors were already chopping the air. Engines were hot. Crews were ready. The Marines filed into the aircraft, strapped themselves in, and one after another, the helicopters lifted off and turned east, pushing toward Iran. On the ground, the situation was turning into a brutal race against time. The Iranian provincial governor had put up $60,000 for the capture of the American pilots. Iranian state television was actively calling on the local population to help hunt them down. One broadcast went even further. It told viewers to shoot any Americans on sight. Armed civilians and IRGC militiamen were already spreading out through the mountainous terrain around the crash site, searching for the exact same men the Marines were flying in to save. That was the reality. The Marines had to reach the missing crew member before the Iranians got there first. Every minute mattered. Every minute on the ground made the odds worse. The longer that pilot remained hidden somewhere in the mountains of southwestern Iran, the tighter the Iranian search net would close around him. Back on the carrier flight deck, F-18 Super Hornets were already rolling forward onto the catapult tracks one after another. These jets were being launched to escort the rescue helicopters and hold air cover over the search zone. Catapults fired. The fighters blasted off the bow in quick succession, climbing hard into the sky before banking toward Iranian airspace. Their mission was simple and deadly serious. Keep the airspace clean. Kill any threat that could endanger the helicopters working the search below. At the same time, at a military base in Qatar, infantry soldiers were grabbing their gear and moving fast to the flight line, where CH-47 Chinook helicopters were already waiting with rotors spinning. If the situation demanded it, those troops could be inserted directly onto Iranian soil to lock down a perimeter around the downed pilot's location and carry out a ground search. The soldiers loaded into the Chinooks quickly, taking their places in the cargo bay with their weapons resting between their knees. Then the helicopters lifted off and turned toward Iran. Inside each Chinook, a door gunner sat behind a mounted machine gun, scanning the sky for Iranian drones that might try to intercept or strike the helicopter during the flight. 2 Chinooks, 1 Black Hawk, and a C-130 pushed together across Iranian territory. The formation moved deeper and deeper into the search area, helicopters hugging low altitude while the C-130 held a higher orbit above them. Inside that C-130, the rescue mission was being run in real time. The aircraft was serving as an airborne command post. Its crew handled radio traffic between every aircraft operating in the area. They tracked the position of each helicopter and every fighter overhead. They relayed intelligence updates from satellites and drone feeds. They maintained contact with the teams already searching on foot. It was the nerve center of the entire operation. The C-130's sensors swept the terrain below, looking for the electronic signal from the downed pilot's survival radio, or any infrared signature that might reveal a human being on the ground. A radio ping, a heat source, a visual contact, Every scrap of information was collected inside that aircraft, processed, and then passed immediately to the rescue helicopters so they could shift their search patterns in real time. Lower down, Bell AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters flew just above the treetops and ridgelines, combing through the terrain where the missing pilot might be hiding. The Vipers moved slowly, deliberately, methodically across the mountainous landscape. Their sensor turrets swept left and right. Their thermal cameras searched for anything that did not belong. A person, a parachute, a signal. The crews worked valleys, ravines, and wooded slopes where a man on foot could disappear from the naked eye. On board, the gunners stayed ready at their weapons. If an Iranian drone appeared, or if armed fighters on the ground tried to engage the helicopters, the Vipers could answer instantly with their 20mm cannon, Hellfire missiles, or rockets. These were not transport helicopters. They were there to fight. They were there to shield the search force, and while doing that, they were also scanning every meter of ground beneath them. And while all of this was unfolding in the skies over Iran, something else was happening on the ground near the border. HIMARS rock launcher batteries positioned at forward firing points received the order to answer the shoot-down. Their crews had been waiting on standby, launcher pods loaded, target coordinates already programmed. Then the command came through and the HIMARS batteries opened fire. Rockets ripped out of the launch pods one after another in a massive salvo. Each one tore into the sky on a column of fire and smoke, arcing toward Iranian military positions. The targets were air defense sites, IRGC staging areas, and military infrastructure in the same region where the F-15E had been brought down. The barrage was fast, it was violent, and it was devastating. Within minutes, dozens of rockets had already been launched. Then, just as fast, the HIMARS vehicles displaced from their firing positions and drove to alternate sites to reload. The message was unmistakable. Shooting down an American aircraft would trigger an overwhelming response on the ground.